Imagine a world where the line between the living and the dead is not a wall, but a thin, permeable veil. In the ancient heart of Yoruba land, death is not an ending, but a transformation into a state of powers concealed. When the bottle drums begin their staccato roar, the Ará Ọ, the citizens of heaven, step out from the shadows of the sacred grove to walk among their children once more. These are not ghosts to be feared in the dark, but the living dead, returning in a whirlwind of sacred cloth to bless the righteous and haunt the wicked. From the thundering deification of the King of Lightning to the terrifying individual masquerades that hold the power of life and death, the Egungun festival is the ultimate bridge between two worlds. Today, we peel back the layers of the sacred regalia to uncover the mysteries of the ancestral return. The truth of what happens when the bones of the fathers find a voice through the spirit of the cloth. To understand how the dead walk again, one must first understand how they are built. The Yoruba believe the human being is an indissoluble union of the physical body, the divine breath, and the inner head of destiny. When an elder transitions, their physical frame returns to the river clay, but their spiritual essence, their Ori, ascends to the invisible realm of Orun to become a guardian for the lineage. Death is merely a change of environment, a dematerialization of the vital breath that allows the soul to loiter around the homestead like a silent shepherd. Through the mystery of Atunway, or reincarnation, a portion of this ancestral life force eventually flows back into the physical world, hidden within the names of newborns like Bobatunde, Father has returned. But the Egungun festival is a more direct manifestation, a ritualized collapse of time where the collective power of the ancestors takes a physical shape. This return is powered by Ose, the primordial energy that allows the spirit to mount a costume and speak with a voice that is shrill, unearthly, and cold. Once the sacred costume is donned, the individual identity of the wearer is erased, and they become Ará Ọ Kini, a supernatural being of the celestial order who must be treated with the highest reverence. The gate between the worlds is guarded by a strict hierarchy of ritual specialists known as the Oje Society. At the apex sits the Alapini, the Supreme Minister of Religious Affairs and a member of the High Council of Kingmakers who keep the earthly monarch in check. Deep within the forbidden mist of the Igbalè grove, the initiates perform the invocation of the spirits, an act of spilling sacrificial animal blood to call the fathers from their celestial rest. Here, the only woman permitted to enter is the Iyo Organ, the high priestess who serves as the vital bond between the gods and their ancestors. She is the keeper of the secrets, the one who assists the men in the ritual transformation where the individual is erased and the spirit takes control. This transformation is governed by the law of silence, a sacred protocol that prevents the uninitiated from ever knowing the true identity of the one behind the mask. To touch the regalia without permission is to invite a spiritual recoil, for the masquerader is no longer a man of the earth, but a celestial being of the highest order. The festival is a time of spiritual cleansing, where the presence of the ancestors exposes the weaknesses of the community to encourage ethical behavior. This begins with the Etufo, a public announcement characterized by wailing and lamentations that reach the ears of the spirits, inviting them to join the fellowship of the living. The physical vessel for the ancestor is the Eku, a sacred architecture of cloth that symbolizes the immortality of the soul. The layer closest to the skin is an undersack of indigo-dyed cotton, a fabric that resembles the funeral shroud and signifies the state of symbolic death. On top of this foundation, the family builds layers of prestige, lappets of velvet, silk, and damask added year after year to showcase bloodline status. As the spirit begins its dance, spinning with a speed that defies human anatomy, these hundreds of cloth panels flare outward like a vibrant sun. This motion creates a physical displacement of air known as the breeze of blessing, a wind spiritually linked to the goddess of the whirlwind, Oyo. To be touched by this wind is to receive the direct protection of the ancestors, a spiritual cleansing that clears the path of disease and misfortune. Sewn into the lappets are mirrors that catch the light, creating flashes of blinding brilliance that signal the presence of the celestial realm in our physical marketplace. Every animal design and geometric pattern embroidered into the fabric tells a specific story of the family's history, their profession, and their divine affiliations. The netting used for the face effectively disguises any human features, ensuring the masker's identity remains completely concealed from the prying eyes of the uninitiated. Any person who attempts to peer through the mesh without authorization invites the wrath of the spirits, for the face of the dead must never be revealed. But not all ancestors return to dance. Some return to judge and to execute justice upon the wicked. Among the most fearsome is Jeńjù, the head of all masquerades in Oyo, a tormentor of witches who represents the primal and unyielding justice of the earth. His costume is not made of fine silk, but of earth-stained rags, clay masses, and animal skulls that strike terror into the hearts of the uninitiated. Then there is the warrior spirit of Ibadan, Alapansanpa, who once paraded through the smoke of military campaigns to ensure victory over the enemies of the state. Most dreaded of all is the individual masquerade known as the Oloolu, a pyramidal entity crowned with a real female human skull. Legend says this skull belonged to a captive beheaded during the ancient wars, and to this day, no woman is permitted to look upon the Oloolu, lest she face instant death or spiritual decay. These senior marks do not leave footprints or shadows in the dust, they walk with an impossible floating grace that confirms they are citizens of heaven who have conquered the grave. Their judgments are beyond the reach of human corruption, acting as the supreme court of the community to resolve disputes that man cannot settle alone. In the silence of their presence, the truth is laid bare, for no light can survive the gaze of the citizens of heaven. The Egungun festival is a reminder that in the Yoruba worldview, you are never truly alone. Your bloodline is a metaphoric cloth that protects and beautifies your soul. We are but travelers in the marketplace, and the character we forge today is the house we will live in when we finally return home to the ancestors. Every wall of the sacred cloth and every beat of the drum is a confirmation that the thread of the lineage remains unbroken through time and space. The ancestors are not just memories, they are guardians who watch over the living, ensuring that the ethical standards of the past illuminate the path to the future. If you wish to journey deeper into the mysteries of the gods and the spirits who shape our world, subscribe to the Untold Gods. Until the drums beat again, remember, the past is never dead, it is only waiting for the wind to blow it back home.